subscribe and like the video. Everybody knew he was a Nazi already, but he's going full Nazi mode once again in an effort to desperately get people to pay attention to him. But it seems like in that process, it seems he's gotten one of his collabs pulled. Numerous famous celebrities have finally unfollowed him. And Kai Cenat, who was supposed to do a collab with him, said this.
I'm gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I seen the tweets, my nigga. I seen the tweets, bro. I seen the tweets. I don't know what's going on, bro. I think it's GG's.
He doesn't. What do you mean you don't know what's going on? He did this before, you know.
Hey,
the second time he's doing it.
I think it is GG's. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think, bro, it's crazy, bro. I don't know, bro. It's crazy. It's just back to back to back. I don't know. I think it's GG's. It's GG's, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course it's GG's. And the thing is, I have a different approach to it. I do think that like his mental illness certainly played a major role in making him vulnerable and more susceptible to influence. Candace Owens played a big role in, I think, Kanye West's like radicalization. Having said that, however, this is the second time. This is the second go at it. And I think at this point, it's very obvious. It's fairly obvious that it's not because of just like the mania that comes in and out of Kanye West's life, but also I think he's doing it for attention. Like it's just like a child that needs attention and cries and poops in his diapers. That's what he's doing. Like he's just very clearly trying to sell some product. And if you can't do it because of your creative skills, what do? You go for the lowest common denominator. That's it. The lowest common denominator is saying shit that people will pay attention to negatively. Okay? 14-year-old kids do this exact same thing all the time. Like literally this exact same thing, which is, screaming the racially charged, racist ass bullshit. That's it. He's like an angry baby. Okay? There's an FD signifier about Kanye, which is illuminating about his past and how he was maybe always like this. Yeah. He hit every part of the political spectrum. I will say nothing bad or against China. They always showed me love. When Americans turned their backs on me, I'm a Nazi. Who's your top 5 baddest bitches of all time? My wife, my wife, my wife, my wife. My wife demoralizes bitches. I change my mind when I feel like it. If you see anyone around me, know that they are providing a service. Friends are for kids. Friends are for kids. I used to be broke. Now I can't relate to brokenness and don't want to. All white people are racist. I'm happily out of touch. Gerard Carmichael is funnier than Dave Chappelle. I miss you, family, and I'm sorry if I ever said any gay jokes in front of you, not knowing you was gay. You are one of the most brilliant people. And yes, I said I miss you, knowing people will try to flip that. He's finally crossed the line. Wait, is Gerard Carmichael gay? He's selling this now? What is this? Okay, dude. I've wanted to make this t-shirt for years. My greatest performance art piece thus far. Like this has 89,000 likes. Twitter is so cooked. Yeah, HH Hitler 01. Dude, let me explain something to you, okay? Let me explain something to you. Like this is 1,000,000% someone who is unimaginably desperate for attention. Okay. He said, "Hail Elon." Kanye is not being a contrarian. If he was, he would be a communist. The ultimate contrarian under a capitalist system. Being a Nazi and spewing Nazi views just reinforces what capitalist fascist collaborators want to do. Dude, no, I don't think you understand. He is just simply, okay? He is just simply doing what he thinks is the edgiest thing you can do. Okay? That's it. Man, this is his perspective on what he believes is edgy. That's it. It's a desperate ploy for attention from an old man who is nearing 50 years old, who unfortunately for many of his fans and himself has not contributed to the culture in meaningful and relevant ways in quite a while at this point. And I think that bricked his brain. He already was like very obviously not all there. and surrounded by sycophants who lean into his worst motivations, who allow him to go crazy like this. He's just basically popping off, desperately trying to garner as much attention as he possibly can. And we're kind of giving it to him, but not in the way that he wants it to happen. You know, that's it. Can you explain how Candace Owens played a role in this? In Kanye West's most vulnerable moments, Candace Owens was literally constantly stuck to his ass cheeks, okay? A lot of people don't remember this. This was all the way back in like 2018, if I'm not mistaken. It was the first time he had a crash out. Van Lathan, I forget how to say his name, I'm sorry, famously had that TMZ argument with him where he was saying like slavery is a mindset, where he was basically unwinding, where he first started doing the MAGA shit. That was when he was linked up with Candace Owens. And Candace Owens was nonstop pumping his brain with like at first some Hotep stuff, and then later directly okay? I've talked about this at the time. I remember talking about this at the time because I can't reveal my sources, but I also had some people that, especially when he went to Africa, when he did his Africa tour, I know some people that were there with him, and they explained to me how shocking it was and how much more shit that he's openly saying now, he was saying 7 years ago, okay? He was saying all this stuff behind closed doors, and then he's now voluntarily revealing this stuff now. Okay? That's it. Nope. It's crazy. So the reality of the matter is, this is kind of the trajectory. This is kind of the trajectory that Kanye West has been on for almost the past decade. Okay? When does the fun start? I'm getting depressed. I mean, this is like drama related, drama adjacent stuff. Down. So he's never been this openly pro, but what are you doing? Hey, down. That's crazy. She being crazy today. Why can't she get out of bed? Because she wants to lay on the ground and it's bad for her joints. She's a big girl. Anyway, I used to be woke too. I like that being woke now is just saying being like, that's what wokeness has gotten to. Cancel culture is now when you want to say that like a federal government employee shouldn't be on the timeline talking about, you know, deporting every Indian. That's cancel culture. Okay. If you say, hey, this like 19, 20-year-old was tweeting about how we should deport every Indian and we should normalize Indian hate. Okay. 2 weeks before assuming the role of controlling the treasury, right? Like maybe that's not the best possible person to hire for the job. That's cancel culture. And now woke is when you're like, say no to Nazis. You know what the worst part is? The album gonna suck? Yeah, 100%. If he could rest on his laurels, he wouldn't be doing this shit anyway. That's it. You do this kind of stuff when what do hacky ass comedians do? When they don't have good material, when they feel like they're out of touch, what do? They hit the exact same button. They try to be as edgy as possible because that drives reactions. Okay? If you're desperate for attention, you can always hit that cancel culture vein. You can always say like edgy shit. Okay? You have access to every on their talents and worth on the company, not on what they're doing. To be honest, this incredibly sad. Bro has kids. Yeah, that's the other side of the story, which is like he's 50 years old. He has children at this point who can see him doing this kind of stuff, and it's just like it's so lame. It's so corny. It's so sad. I don't know. I mean, he is just actively manic posting on the timeline up and down. He's about to be 50 soon, and he's still doing this stuff. Yeah, there's not really much else I can say about it. Yesterday, the White Lives Matter tee sold the most. They'll buy all this Louis Vuitton owned by a French dude, but y'all mad. Okay, yeah. Now, the thing that's also, I guess, like, if I were to do some systemic analysis here, some systemic critique here, I think one of the major issues with this kind of hog behavior, is that it does have a tendency to normalize other people coming out this way, because there are plenty of people who want clout. There are plenty of people who want attention. So they go, oh, well, Kanye's doing it, I'm going to do it too. And then there's also plenty of people.
Hey, everyone.
There are also plenty of people who personally agree with this kind of attitude, and they see that as a perfect way to come out and actively try to make this more of a normal attitude to have. Okay, like you just do the way this works is like when Elon Musk hits that Sig Heil. And there's a lot of discourse, and he gets no punishments, no penalties for it as the wealthiest, most powerful person on the planet. That creates an environment where a lot more people will feel comfortable doing this kind of thing. Okay? And guess what? Kanye also contributes to that and has contributed to that. And that's precisely what's happening.
It's over. It's cooked. GG. All the words that you can use to describe a situation that's beyond the point of no return. It's
Hasan, thank you for not feeding the narrative that Kanye's acting like this due to bipolar 1 disorder. I was diagnosed with it in 2017. No, the only thing that contributes to it is like, it obviously, when you're bipolar, yes, you are more vulnerable, more susceptible to outside influences like this, but it's still him doing it. You know what I mean? He's like, not everyone with bipolar disorder that goes out and becomes a Nazi. Okay? Like, people actively work to control their urges. And I think that Kanye West, especially given the media blackout that he engaged in his spiraling in the past, like, this is not the first time he's doing it. This is the second time he's doing it very publicly. Okay, and the stakes are constantly raised. So obviously there is a separate narcissistic tendency here where he obviously wants to garner attention by doing this. It's not because he's bipolar, although that feeds into him being vulnerable, I think, especially alongside his narcissism and his tendency to push away people that are like criticizing him or critical of him in his own orbit that try to reach out to him and preserve his mental sanity. Okay. But it's clear that, like, especially considering the times where he hasn't behaved like this prominently, and the suspicious nature of how he came out recently again and started popping off like this again right before he decides to like release an album or sell some merchandise or whatever. It shows me that he's doing this for a very specific, very deliberate, very nefarious purpose, which is to garner more attention. Sean Vids, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Congratulations on all the money that you raised on your PCRF fundraiser. You're the GOAT.
too far. It's too far gone. He's too far gone. It's over with. This is the official close of the Kanye chapter. See, the thing is, right, Kanye West, when he used to be contrarian, he would try to accompany it with some level of thought, you know. All of those arguments that he had maybe, I don't know, what was it, 7 years ago, where he's on TMZ, and even those were horrible, but it seemed to stem not just out of some like maybe temper tantrum or some want to be noticed so badly that you're literally saying anything. It seemed as if, at least back then, though those arguments were terrible, he was trying to articulate his point. I'm not blaming the fans. I'm not. Y'all don't have control over what Kanye West says. You aren't going to be the needle. But a lack of engagement, I think, is what's required when you see people doing things like this. Kanye West is incapable. Yes, Kanye West is incapable of making noise musically currently. He has no ideas, nothing thought-provoking, nothing left in the
Exactly. And when you're like an incredibly influential artist for most of your life, I think that bricks your brain. Straight up. So you try to hit the lowest common denominator nonsense that garners maximum amounts of attention. Okay? And that's where he is. That's currently where he is. Exactly. Like, the stuff is a weird situation because on the one hand, it's incredibly dangerous to normalize this kind of rhetoric. Okay, that's one. Number two, he does have this ideological leaning for sure. Okay? Make no mistake. But the reason why he's coming out like this is not because of mental illness, even though that is a contributing factor. Okay? The reason why he's coming out like this is because he wants attention and he doesn't know how to get it with his art. He doesn't have motion anymore. He can't dictate fashion trends. He can't dictate music trends. He's completely far removed from rap as a medium. His artistic expression is not up to par. Like, I feel like if you made him listen to like a one Osama song or whatever, he would snap back to reality almost. Like, it would break his brain so hard. Like, a lot of where rap is going right now with, underground artists and underground music. No, not Bin Laden, man. Osama's son. Like one Black Boy Max collaboration stream would just destroy his brain. And it's interesting because he also recognizes that as well to a certain degree, because I saw him tweeting about how he just like doesn't listen to rap anymore because it's lame. He only listens to Wagner. He said his favorite rapper is Miles.
Tank musically, because if he did, this level of expression wouldn't be coming out.
How you know about Osama's son? Okay, dude. Just because I'm an old man who doesn't listen to any music whatsoever doesn't mean that I'm not like keeping up with things that are happening in the world. Okay, calm down.
On Twitter, it will be coming out through song. Now, just because Kanye is a musician, it doesn't mean that the only medium in which he can express himself is through music. It just doesn't appear to be a coincidence that the music quality has significantly dropped over the last 5 years. He's no longer in that musical GOAT conversation. He's dropping trailer after trailer and snippet after snippet of this AI bullshit all over his social media, trying to garner attention and noise, and nobody's biting at the bait. Now my guy's just saying anything. And it's sad, I'm not telling you to feel bad for Ye either. I don't believe this is one of those like mental breakdowns or one of those episodes. I genuinely think that he is so beyond the point.
You mean Wagner or Vikernes? Both. But Wagner, he tweeted about Wagner, said like, oh, I only listen to classical compositions from Wagner. He's the best because he wasn't, broken by the Jews or whatever. He's just doing dog whistles on every aspect, including his music. Is so stupid.
Of just being creative and putting together a thought-provoking song that he's resorted to having to be acknowledged via Twitter by saying literally anything. It doesn't have to come from a thought. It doesn't have to come from a deep-seated emotion. It doesn't have to come from something that he's been sitting with for a while. Anything. It's basically Kanye's rage bait. That's it. He wants attention. He can't get it through music because for whatever reason, I'm not going to say he's not talented enough to produce records that would get people talking, but he hasn't done so over the last 5 years. People that aren't hardcore fans, his genius, quote unquote, has not been acknowledged to that extent musically. I'm not saying that people don't still like his merchandise, but the allure of Kanye West clothing doesn't seem to be as hype as it was 5-6 years ago. So when no one's talking about Kanye or bro wants some attention,
those are not dog whistles, my guy. He's selling a shirt with a swastika on it. That's blatant. No. I'm saying like even, I know it's blatant. But I'm saying even when he's talking about like music, like every aspect of it is just like pro-Nazi. Everything he tweets about is like about how much he loves Adolf Hitler. Dude, I don't know how to explain this to you. It is because he is washed. That's it. He is so washed and so desperate for attention that he knows this is the last thing you can do. There is the only thing you can do that is worse than this if you actively come out in support of like or something. Okay, that's it. That's the last move that he's got in the tank. Okay, the one thing he hasn't pulled on yet is saying he loves Adolf Hitler is basically second to last before you hit the full Monty. Okay, that's it. Then why would he have the same views 5 years ago? I think he was at least like somewhat cognizant and had more motion still because he was just recently coming out and saying he's like pro MAGA, pro Trump, whatever. Okay. So he didn't feel the need to just go balls to the wall. I guess technically he did hit a free Diddy So he did do that as well. Yeah, he had like contracts with Adidas. Like he had the wherewithal to recognize. He had the wherewithal to recognize that, like, you know, on the one hand, he could probably get more attention with his music. He probably still believed that he could get more attention with his music. Okay. That was one aspect of it. On the other hand, I think, hold on. On the other hand, maybe he hadn't like fully flushed out his insane perspective, right? The list he had color coded was crazy on TMZ. Yeah. This is the funniest tweet about this process, I think. Yeah. Him coming out and being like, I love Hitler. Now what, bitches? And this is the best tweet for it. Okay, so does 30% of the site. You're not special anymore. Exactly. Like, it's not even hot. Yeah, now what, dude? I can't believe you said you love Nazis on the platform. Like, here, even this in and of itself shows that this doesn't garner the same level of attention anymore because it's not even special. Now, obviously, I look at that as a broader problem, a cultural problem, a societal problem that is really consequential and really significant, will genuinely lead to a lot of issues down the line. Okay. But having said that, ultimately, you ain't special. I mean, these guys are getting hired. Guys with opinions like this are getting hired to the federal government right now. Okay.
He pops out to the Grammys with his half-naked wife. Definitely feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember the last time Kanye West went to the Grammys. When an NBA player wants to be acknowledged, he performs well in his games. When a producer wants to be acknowledged, he shuts his whole ass up and makes some drums. When a chef wants to be acknowledged, he goes in the kitchen. But when a creatively self-neutered Kanye West wants to get attention, he goes to Twitter. That makes
I think Kanye would have been more impactful if after all of the instances where he got Bianca naked, he went to the Grammys and he was butt ass naked and she was dressed up. But he's got no creative juice. He's got no motion. It's tapped out. Okay? If he came out there with like a sock on his dick and just walked that goddamn red carpet and Bianca was like dressed up, people will be like, damn, that's crazy. I can't believe he did that. But guess what? That would require a little bit of critical thinking. That would require some creativity. Okay? He doesn't have the meat for it. You don't know that. But my point is, he's got no emotion. He's got no aura. He's got no new opinions. He's just looking for bottom of the barrel nonsense. Look at me. I'm dominating my wife that looks like Kim Kardashian. Okay, free Bianca. Yeah, I saw that TikTok where a lady was talking about if Bianca had bush, it would have been art. I agree. That's another great take. Like, I think if Bianca came out and had just like the meatiest bush of all time on that fit, all of a sudden, art. Okay? That's another take. You all of a sudden turn it around. You're now a trendsetter. Okay? People are talking about how is Bush coming back? Okay? He's a steak rage bait Twitter account in celebrity form. Yeah. My point is, all of that requires some kind of forethought, you know? But he's got none of that anymore. He's not interested in making something unique or different. Okay? He is interested in rage baiting. That's it. That's it. And if that's all you can get, is all you're capable of doing, inevitably people are going to go, this is kind of mid. This is no longer interesting. Okay? This is no longer interesting. This is kind of mid. This is boring. And it is. It's desperate. It's lame. It's boring.
No sense. The guy who's produced some of the greatest records you've heard in your life, who's been acknowledged in the fashion industry, his creative juices are so sapped up that instead of creating better material, he'd rather resort to I love Hitler tweets. I think it's up to the people to do better and just not unironically engage with him. I've seen people on Twitter trying to argue back and forth with Kanye West in this moment. He doesn't give a what you're talking about. He just cares that you're engaging. He just cares that people are seriously.
This is also another telltale sign that someone is right wing. Okay. You see this? Y'all seeing this? Okay. The moment that you put on, I mean, it's not Oakley's, right? It's a different brand, but it's got the Oakley style. The moment that you put skin tight Oakleys on, and it's just creating little meat flaps. All right, it's done. You got the wraparounds looking like those are the wife beater 7s. Okay, those are the domestic abuser 7s. You put them shits on, you've gone right wing. Okay, you got the meat creases, dude. It's over. You're tactically ascertaining whether or not you're about to commit a felony. Okay, you're about to have a kinetic moment with a teenager. Never seen a guy with positive aura rocking the wife beaters like that.
He's trying to dismantle his points. There are no points. There's nothing you have to argue against. He doesn't care what's coming out of his mouth, and neither should you. But these should be reasons why you should rescind support. These should be reasons why you should look at Kanye West and be like, damn, you're that drained creatively that as opposed to making better art, you'd rather tweet in order to get attention. How sad, how little, how low. You're saying Virgil. Dude, I can't even take you serious. Everything that I've had to say about Kanye West has not changed. I could apply the exact same things I said about Kanye in a video from 2, 3, 4 years ago and apply them right now, and it would still fit. Nobody needs a monologue or a video essay to tell them that the things that Kanye West was saying are unforgivable, irredeemable. You shouldn't say these no words. But Kanye exists currently just in opposition of what people think so that he can garner attention. That's it. The music has been scattered, unable to speak for itself or prove itself for years now. And I think it's up to his fans to genuinely just reach a breaking point. How far are you willing to go? How much are you willing to be pushed? What more do you need to see? What more does he need to say? The line in the sand has been...
I think also maybe this is like him testing the waters a little bit too. Like, yeah, I think he really, really, really wants attention. That's number one. But also, I think he is desperate to see, like, I think his narcissism creates this unique predicament where he's like, what can I say and still maintain a fan base? I think that's probably the other side of this as well, which is like, I'm going to say the most unhinged shit to garner as much attention as possible. But I wonder if I can like say this stuff and still maintain a loyal fandom. I guess that's part of it too. Well, being not is cool now? No, I don't think so. I don't agree with that. Okay, I don't agree with that at all. Fell off after late registration. I also think the music industry is interested in the answer to this question as well for monetary purposes. But like he's not. I don't even think he's not putting out bangers. He's not getting rewarded. I think he ultimately would need to put out really good music. And if you have really good music, then you wouldn't need to do this anyway. Like you said, dumb people might follow Kanye's trolling. You could say Kanye is the dumb person following Elon's trolling. The Overton window shifts right. I mean, he was doing this before Elon. Maybe he's getting paid. No, he's not. He's not. He's getting rewarded if he sold 800K off a t-shirt though. You guys are... Dude, he sold 3,000 units. He's Kanye West. Are you kidding me? That's nothing. That's literally like streamer merchandise drop number. What are you talking? He's Kanye West. This man, yeah, he sold $800,000 worth of shirts and he made $60,000. But I looked at the number of units he actually sold, and the number of units he sold was like 3,000. Do you understand how little that is for someone like Kanye West? That's Kanye West. 10 years ago, Kanye West is changing fashion, okay? Whether you like him or not, playing a significant and active role in changing fashion trends at the global stage. Now, he's literally doing Twitch streamer merchandise numbers. That's it. Like, that is low for Kanye. That's my point, okay? Like, it's a decent number of units that you sold, but understand that is definitely very low for someone like Kanye West. Like, he made people wear those ugly ass Yeezys, dude. Think about that. He sold more Yeezys. Ye knows the truth hurts. Yeah. Is it possible he's just actually a... Wait, no, he is. I'm not saying he's not. What do you mean? He's openly saying he loves Adolf Hitler. That, like, what? He is that. He has become that for sure. I'm just simply explaining to you like why he's doing that on top of the fact that he is that. Okay? He definitely is that, But the reason why he's also doing that right now is because he's got nothing in the tank. He's got nothing creatively in the tank. And when you got nothing in the tank, what do? If your job revolves around the attention economy, okay? If your job revolves around garnering as much attention as possible so you can consider yourself to be an influential person. Like, he went from being an artist to being an influencer, okay? He leveled down, and not even like a cool influencer. He went from being an artist, a cherished, well-celebrated, well-respected artist, to being a kick streamer. It is the bottom of the barrel. Why do you think all these kick streamers do like this all the time? It's because they don't know anything else. They don't know any other way of getting attention. Okay? Like, he devolved. He's washed. That's it. Do you understand? That's what you do. Why do you think when celebrities, for example, fall out of favor or whatever, or are outed as like sex pests, or are outed as sex criminals like Russell Brand, they literally hit the right wing button as hard as they possibly can? Why do they do that? Because they know that there's like a captive audience there that will respond positively to them. Okay? That's why they do that. It's the oldest trick in the book at this point. And he's doing it too. And he's been doing it.
Drawn. You either going to be on one side or the other. And you can't tell me that Kanye West is putting out anything for you to dive onto his side of the sand for. That's the fucked up part about a lot of people that are fans. You don't even have anything to currently attach yourself to. Nothing recent that he's come out with that you would need to say, nah, I can never let him go. Ain't none of that he made graduations. Bitch, that was 2007. It's almost 20 years ago. Let it go. Hey, bro, you niggas got to move on. I'm sorry. He's done miracles on me, not today. He's not lost. He's not going through a breakdown. He's a coward who's currently running away from his inability to create. It's so odd that he had such a fixation on Drake's downfall this summer, when it seems he shares Drake's issue in this inability to acknowledge yourself as the problem. The issue is always external with these people. Are you that big-headed right now? Have people fed your ego to that level? I'm not going to call it a fall off, but you know, I don't know if it was Ice Cube or whoever said it, that you get like 3, 4, 5 years in your prime as like a rapper where you're popping and nobody can with you. And to Kanye's credit, he's been relevant and popping for like way longer than that. And that level of visibility.
Dude, this one chatter has just been desperately going, bro, Asmongold's talking about you. Asmongold's talking mad shit about you. Okay, man, what do you want me to do? Like, all right, cool.
Ability and constant admiration.
Who
I think
cares?
has helped feed into this idea that he has of himself, where he's entitled to the people's support, where he's entitled to the people.
Everyone's like, bro, you gotta get in there, dude. You gotta do some drama, dude.
People's engagement and interest, and he doesn't have to work for it.
Bro, Asmongold yesterday said U.S. aid was paying Politico to do Gamergate articles. Okay? You mean? Like, what are you talking about, dude? He said USAID was paying Politico to write about Gamergate, to come after gamers. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. If that's where you're getting your notes from, like, you're gonna be wrong. Okay. What has USAID ever done for Asmongold though? No, USAID has ruined his life. They attacked him by making titties smaller in video games. Okay. Also, half the time, Asmongold isn't even talking shit. He'll just literally hit a line where he'll say something that's critical and then immediately turn around and be like, but I actually agree with Hasan. And chatters will come in here specifically to be like, dude, Asmongold's talking mad shit. He's so mad at you, dude. It's time. You got to respond to him. You got to come after him. You got to destroy him in the marketplace of ideas right now. And it's like, it's only because you just want drama. I don't care. I don't care what Asmongold has to say. Okay. Unless it's about USAID doing Gamergate, in which case that's very funny and also incredible political commentary. Okay. What? Saw the Hasan video now. There is nothing, bro. I am kind of disappointed. Lel. What are you? What? You smile? I don't even know what the you're talking about. You literally just did the example Hasan is talking about. Yeah. He said USAID wronged him personally and they must suffer. And journalists wronged him personally with Gamergate and that they must suffer. That's an amazing take, I think. That is, in my opinion, that is peak political commentary. It's like actually, unironically, way more interesting in terms of political commentary than anything else a million Brett Stevens could come up with. Okay. Give that man a New York Times op-ed slot right now. Right this moment. I need to hear more about how USAID is doing Gamergate.
And to a certain degree, they've proven that he doesn't need to work for it. They've shown that regardless of whatever it is that you do, regardless of whatever it is that you say, I'm going to listen to that next album. I'm going to listen to that next body of work. I'm going to tune into your next musical endeavor. I'm going to buy your merchandise. I don't care what you say on Twitter. I'm still going to support. And don't get me wrong. I know there are fans. There are diehards. There are people that are lost in his sauce. I get it. But Kanye West has not dropped a piece of merchandise that you would need to buy since like 2020. How many of y'all still use your stem? Where do you take it? You don't feel like a loser? That's the MP3 version of an Apple Watch. You're a loser. I just don't think it's too much to ask or to demand as a fan. I can't listen to an artist that does this. And it's not like this is they don't take their trash to the front on Monday, or he didn't wash his hands that one time he left the bathroom. Still disgusting, by the way. I see a lot of you niggas. Is not being a apologist too much to ask? That's kind of about all I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that people will go to that length. Anthony Fantano says Kanye West is a disgusting loser. People are still mad at him for this take, by the way, which is pretty funny. Like, people still... I saw people on Twitter being like, yo, you're obsessed with him, dude. Anthony Fantano is obsessed. It's like, what are you saying, big dog? What are you saying? There is also one interesting take from Bullsman that I kind of agree with that I've talked about before. Elon and Kanye share a CIA lawyer, Alex Spiro, who played a key role in the decision-making early on as Elon took over Twitter, perhaps even more so than Elon by one account. Despite Elon's open servitude to Israel, Twitter has become a hive of propaganda since his takeover. Now, I don't care about like the lawyer connection, but I do think it's very odd. That there is a lot of prominence to be offered to you if you say unhinged anti-Semitic stuff. And a lot of the people who say unhinged anti-Semitic things, who also then will turn around and act like they are anti-Israel, are the names that you hear of the most. I feel like there's a concerted effort to basically make it seem as though most of the anti-Israel commentary actually comes from people who are also anti-Semitic. This is something that I've noticed and something that I've actually criticized quite a bit, whether it be Myron from Fresh and Fit, okay, whether it be Dan Bilzerian, or numerous other people that get a lot of prominence from the likes of Piers Morgan and many other outlets. Okay. It is weird. Okay. It's also weird that people sometimes talk about that Jake Shields, that nurse doctor woman who's like very clearly an anti-Semite. Now, of course, on the one hand, I think that anti-Semitism is not seen as big as a threat as being anti-Israel is, right? From a lot of our institutions. Clearly, that's not the case. Clearly, if that was the case, then the ADL would be coming after the likes of, Donald Trump or Elon Musk way more aggressively. Okay, don't you think? But the ADL will regularly go after people who are obviously overtly anti-Semitic. Every now and then, like Kanye. This one is a classic example. Okay. This is just a way to beef up your bona fides to say like, oh no, I'm in this to still attack anti-Semitism. If you were in the combating anti-Semitism game, you'd probably be saying a lot more about the likes of Elon Musk hitting up Sig, for example, instead of defending him because he is pro-Israel. So for me, I think that basically a lot of the most prominent anti-Israeli accounts are being openly anti-Semitic on the timeline. It cannot be an accident. It works in two different ways. On the one hand, When anti-Semitism grows and festers in the Western world, then Israel can continue to say, look at how anti-Semitic the world is. We have to have a Jewish ethno-state. Okay, we must have a Jewish ethno-state. Otherwise, no Jews around the world are ever going to be truly secure and safe. Okay, that's part of the reason why Benjamin Netanyahu actively will collaborate with anti-Semitic fascist movements all around the world. The other side of this also is that you can then partner and pair up anti-Semitism and anti-Israel takes by saying, look, all the most prominent anti-Israel accounts, all the most prominent anti-Israel people are rabid anti-Semites. Okay? That's why I've often maintained the position that someone like myself who actively combats anti-Semitism, who is also anti-Israel, is a far greater threat to these institutions that are tasked with defending Israel than someone who is openly anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. Because when you're openly anti-Semitic and anti-Israel, then you can just go, yeah, this guy hates Jews. Like, look at him. It's very clear. That's why he hates Israel. Okay? But when it's someone like myself, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard for you to actively try to maintain this position that my criticism of Israel is not coming from the fact that I have an understandable moral position on the invention and maintenance of an apartheid regime that is built around religious and ethnic supremacy in an identical fashion to previous fascist movements, that is doing I think that is unacceptable. Okay? All of a sudden, that becomes a much larger problem. Okay? That's a much larger problem because you can't present an argument as easily as, well, that guy is anti-Semitic. And I mean, there it is. He tweeted out Heil Hitler again. Okay? That's the end. Finish. Just check his tweet out right now. Jesus Christ. What do you mean? This is not new, chat. What are you talking about? He's tweeted out Heil Hitler like 25 times in the past like 48 hours. What are you talking about? He's spamming it. I think this is a desperate and very sad ploy for attention. Do I believe that he personally thinks this way? This is his ideological position? Yes. Do I believe that his mental health complications made him more susceptible to this kind of ideology from a charismatic figure in his corner, Candace Owens? Okay, absolutely. Having said that, however, the major contributor to him doing this is his desperate ploy for garnering attention. He can't do it by making music. Okay, he is trying to still be as relevant as he can. He can't do this by making music, so he's trying to do it by, consistently glazing Adolf Hitler. That's it. It's sad. But yeah, I have noticed that so many prominent anti-Israel accounts, especially on Twitter, are also rabid anti-Semites. Do Aindin Ross really want to interview? Yeah. What a strange world we live in, where this like random corner of the internet that we exist in is becoming more prominent and more involved in the broader culture. And it's happening in the worst ways possible. You know what I mean? We are in the bad timeline, but let's hear what Anthony Fantano has to say.
Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. Here I am with another one of these videos. Yep, these videos here, these videos that I'm tired of doing, they seem like they are too big and annoying and obnoxious to ignore, but simultaneously, I don't really know what there is to add to this topic at this point. That topic being Kanye West and the continually ridiculous, harmful, and outlandish things that he says on a regular basis, specifically on his Twitter account, where recently he has dropped such hits as, I'm a Nazi. Yeah, he's literally saying it again. He's saying it again. He has said it before. I'm a Nazi. He is reiterating it one more time, you know, really screaming it out for those in the back who refuse to face facts in terms of like where his head and ideology are currently at. Yeah, I mean, as of the time I am filming this video, he has really been tweeting for hours, saying things like, I channeled Andrew Tate on a few of those tweets, as well as my favorite tweet tonight was about woke fat bitches. He also posted an often shared old black and white photo of him where he's like, you know, wearing this t-shirt that has a swastika on it with a cross through it. And he himself says, I used to be woke too. Again, making it clear that whatever sort of mindset he was in when he was wearing that shirt, no longer in it. At one point, he even stated that he has a dominion over his wife, Bianca, who has been catching a lot of heat and criticisms as of late due to her recent public appearances with Ye, where she is just completely and utterly naked. Hitler was so fresh, and y'all call me Yadolf Hitler, and your bitch still wants to I mean, who truly knows what is in this man's heart and how far this political ideology rabbit hole goes down for Kanye? He does have a really big history of just being a contrarian and embracing whatever kind of goes against what he perceives as the grain around him, socially speaking. He even launched a tweet here where he says, I could say Jew as much as I want and Hitler as much as I want. Matter of fact, I do say it when I want. He's still saying all of it. He's still a moron. And honestly, I don't really know if that's any better than him actually being a I mean, he's either embracing it in order to be edgy and go against what he thinks everybody wants him to believe or feel or give into, or he's embracing it because he genuinely believes in the perspective. Either are bad and disqualifying. At one point, he even advocated for freeing P. Diddy, which also has not gone over very well with a lot of his fans and people in the hip hop community as a result of, you know, the evidence against Diddy being stacked up so high that pretty much everybody is of the opinion that he is very much guilty of all, if not just a great deal of what he is currently arrested for. But again, Kanye does also have a history for standing in support of people who have some pretty damning abuse allegations against them.
Yeah, free Diddy is what I was just saying, right? Like, it's the final stage. Like, the last line that you can hit, is basically saying that you're like pro free Jeffrey Epstein. It's the final, it is the final form. Oh man, that's gonna get clipped. Wait, what? Wait, what are you talking about? Someone's gonna clip that out of context? Wait, what did I say? Like, it is the one thing worse than being an out and about. Like, that's what is the only thing that is a like more ridiculous thing that you could say other than saying that you love Adolf Hitler? Saying that you are pro. Okay, that's it. And
again, just to stress and reiterate to cover my bases, these are allegations, and we're going to see whatever happens with Diddy play out in a court of law, most likely. But yeah, again, a lot of zaniness that is difficult to ignore, but simultaneously there's
chat. When you mention clipping, people look up the chat transcript for clip and then make their clip. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean, it is obvious that people have completely decided to no longer try to understand context whatsoever and are very deliberately doing smear campaigns. You know, it's crazy because I'll address something that was clipped out of context, offer the context, and then the reaction will literally be to clip me out of context again, like remove the context that I'm addressing. This is part of the reason why many people don't want to actually address these issues face to face, and will resort to, will demand that you watch shit, okay? So they can continue driving the narrative in whichever direction they want to their audience, then, and consistently poison the well. That's it, you know?
There's not really a whole lot to say about it, truly and honestly. It's right here in black and white. It doesn't run that deep. It is what it is, and it's totally embarrassing for both Kanye and Kanye fans, and even just anybody who has to observe him acting this way alike. Again, whether it's because he feels this way, or he wants to be edgy, or he just is trying to drum up interest in his forthcoming album cycle, it's all bad. There's no reason or justification for any of this. I mean, it's gotten so awful that previous collaborators like JPEG Mafia have had to tweet in order to distance himself from it. And currently right now on Twitter, there is a headline that says, Kanye West's autism diagnosis separating behavior from diagnosis. Like, why do we need to have this discourse as if being autistic is a prerequisite for having a crash out on Twitter? Clearly, there is much more than being on the spectrum going on with this man. And the only silver lining to this cloud right now is that it does seem like on some level that even his most sycophantic supporters who were like really there with him through the Vultures album cycle and so on and so forth are now becoming disillusioned with his behavior and his commentary at this point. So, I mean, I guess that's at least somewhat of a saving grace as a result of all this. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I think that,
yeah, it's crazy. It's just so obvious. It's so obvious what's happening, and it's kind of sad. It's sad to see so many people like still actively trying to, make this seemingly work. I don't know. Apparently, Ye is gonna talk to Aiden Ross soon or something. I don't know. It's just like people farming. It's basically just people farming clout all the way down. I don't think there's any hope of him changing until maybe when his children are older. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta give it up. You just gotta let it go, man. I don't know. You have to let it go. I don't know why people are so deeply invested in this. I don't understand it. Elon, there were no deep state subversives in there. Just nice people sending food and medicine to hungry, sick folks. Blow it up anyway. Okay, dude, isn't Aiden Jewish? Yes, but okay. Aiden is Jewish, so what? He's literally had Nick Fuentes and Sneeko, both are obviously openly anti-Semitic, on his broadcast numerous times where they convinced him that the was fake, dude. Like, what are you talking about? He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He just cares about clout. Scoring a massive interview with Kanye West is infinitely more important. If he's going to farm clout off of Nick Fuentes and Sneeko, he's going to farm clout off of Kanye. Are you kidding me? I think for a lot of people, they don't think about the impact of this either. Like, they don't think about the consequences of this sort of thing. They don't think about like what this does in terms of normalizing being in political discourse. Like, what kind of ramifications can come from that? People are just not thinking clearly about this at all. That's it. Kanye is massively influential to young people, hopefully less so in time. I don't think he has that kind of motion any longer. I don't think Kanye West has that level of skill. He deleted a giant tweet about the Matrix bullshit. What? Yeah. Also, yeah, here, speaking of Nazis, a group of neo-Nazis tried to have a march in Cincinnati, and the locals had some fun with it.
Yeah, burn that bitch up.
Burn that bitch up, man. Let that bitch burn. Let that bitch burn.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about?
I'm out.
Still liquor license off 15 shit. Purple, man.
Get them boys the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck y'all flag. Hitler been dead. Y'all living in the 40s.
Hitler been dead. Y'all living in the 40s. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm sure the shitheads had to go and cry to the police that their items were stolen. Classic. Serious question: where do they get those flags? What company's making flags? I actually don't know. I don't know where the they get it from. Someone's making them though. Shopify selling it proudly. I doubt that I'm sure you could probably call it out and they'll take it off the website. is easy to print. Can you order any? You can order any prints online, I guess. Same one making the Hasan American flags? Yeah, I doubt it. Is Shopify run by Nazis? No, they just don't care. Anyway, let's get to the judge blocking Doge from accessing personal data at the Treasury. There's a new court block.
Overnight, a federal judge blocking Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from accessing sensitive Treasury Department records, including the personal data of millions of Americans. The judge issuing a preliminary injunction after 19 states sued President Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, saying they violated federal law by giving Musk's team access to the data.
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste.
And in another legal blow, a federal judge Friday pausing the administration's plan that would have put thousands of USAID workers on administrative leave last night, leaving as few as 611 essential employees. The White House accusing the agency of wasteful spending. It came just hours after the agency's name was scraped from its headquarters.
When you look at USAID, that's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud.
Unions representing the workers sued to block the leave order, saying President Trump doesn't have the authority to stop the agency's work.
Assistance doesn't move from a warehouse into the mouths of hungry people by magic. It moves because brave men and women put themselves in really difficult circumstances in order to move that food.
During a Friday news conference, Trump also answered questions about the list of all FBI agents involved in the January 6th investigations demanded by his Justice Department.
I'll fire some of them because some of them were corrupt. I have no doubt about that.
Also overnight, the president taking to Truth Social, announcing he's revoking former President Joe Biden's security clearance, adding Biden could not be trusted with sensitive information.
Now, Trump also said he's ending former President Biden's intel briefings, a courtesy traditionally afforded to former presidents. Mr. Trump saying in his social media post that Biden did the same to him in 2021, at that time pointing to Trump's, quote, erratic behavior. Laura?
Of course, President Biden was not indicted for hoarding classified information. Aaron, just last night, more firings by President Trump. What can you tell us about those?
Well, President Trump fired the head of the National Archives last night, keeping a campaign promise there. And as you sort of referenced, Laura, that agency alerted the Justice Department in 2022 that Trump had potentially mishandled classified documents when he failed to return records that the agency had requested. Now, Trump also said he's dismissing the Board of Trustees at the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and he's installing himself as chairman of the new board. The Kennedy Center released a statement saying in part that it is made up of a bipartisan board of trustees that has supported the arts in a nonpartisan fashion. Each member is supposed to serve a 6-year term, Laura.
All right, Aaron Gilchrist, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't.
This week, President Trump proposed a U.S. takeover of the Gaza Strip, put tariffs on China while postponing those on Mexico.
Dude, my solution to this could have saved so much heartache. Just like giving Trump 24/7 access to like a TV show, and not allowing him to be anywhere near the reins of power. It's win-win. He is constantly tweeting. Okay, he's funniest when he's doing that, when he's got no power but all motion. It would have been great. He would have loved it. We would have adored it. We would have watched him nonstop. He would have made content. And now look at us. Look at where we are. Yeah, give him a Broadway show to produce, give him the arts, give him all the love and admiration that he desperately desires from the liberal elite. That's all he wants.
Mexico and Canada, and ban transgender athletes from women's sports.
God bless you, Mr. President.
This is straight out of the playbook from his first term, what his former advisor Steve Bannon calls...
I strongly believe in the flood the zone theory, which is just overwhelm the opposition. You pick all the different verticals you're going to, and you just drop the hammer. It's executive orders, executive action, all of this.
And so away from the press conferences, the real changes from this White House are happening behind the scenes. In particular, the work of Elon Musk, with concerns about his seemingly unfettered power inside the halls of government. Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, was created by executive order on Trump's first day in office, designed to modernize the government as well as cut costs. So far, Musk and his staff have embedded themselves at the Office of Personnel Management, the HR of the federal government, the General Services Administration, which manages government buildings, and USAID, the agency which distributes humanitarian aid.